folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. How y'all doing? Alright, as promised, we're going to do a build video of the Eflite Draco. Instructions call out for the very first step is to put on your landing gear, which, okay, we're done. No. You're going to take 4 of these 10mm screws. I suggest you have one of these tools in your arsenal because it just makes it a lot easier to identify your screws if you have one of these, because this is one thing where Horizon Hobby still hasn't got the clue on all their models. When they have little bags of screws, label those little bags. You know, A, B, C. That way we know bag A contains these screws, bag B contains those screws. It would make our lives a lot easier, Horizon. So if you're listening, please do that. Alright, so anyways, you're going to take 4 of these, what did I say? 10mm screws, like that. You saw the landing gear, just drops right in there. And just screws right in. Phillips head. And you're going into a nice hard connection. It gives bite right off the bat. And carbon fiber reinforced, so you don't have to worry about it. It ain't going anywhere. Well, if I get that one, that was not wanting to connect. Something's fishy. Well, that side went in just beautifully. Okay. And this front one, I'm sure will go in just fine. I'm sure. Yeah. See, sometimes if you got one that just doesn't want to bite, you think that you just get everything else in place, and lots of times it'll pull that one into position. Now this is going, metal into metal here, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, and then you have this nice handy dandy little cover. And all that does, as you can see, it just hides that carbon fiber plate there, held on with 2-sided tape. So you just peel that off of there like that. This is the hard part of the build. Peel that off there, and that just goes in place. It's only got one spot to go. It only fits one way. There you go. Landing gear assembly is now in place. Go that way. Now, you got 3 total washers. Okay? You got a locking nut, a small washer, and 2 large washers. Okay? I've already loosened them a little bit. You're going to want to take your locking washer off, your small washer, which is the first one, and then your next washer, big one. Leave 1 washer on. I don't believe it matters which side you put the wheels on. Slide your wheel on. And you know what? I wonder if I have handy my grease. I do. Okay. This is a little build tip. Buy some food grade lithium. It's, I don't know what it was. It's grease. It's grease that they use in food grade machines. Okay, and food grade stuff like blenders and stuff. It's silicone. It will not harm foam. It's the same as the grease that you can buy through Great Plains and all the other ones that sell this little thing. But this is like enough to do 500 planes, and it's only a couple of bucks, or it's only I think I paid $8 for it. Enough to last me forever. Won't hurt foam, and it'll take out some of that smell. Not smell. It'll take out some of that sound, that whining sound, like the carbon Cessna has that. You know, that whine, and it'll help with that. Okay, you put the big one back on that you took off. Put the smaller washer on. Okay. And then you're going to put on your locking washer. Now, locking washers are great because they have their own little internal little structure there that helps them from coming unloose. And the key to know that you're in good shape, as long as you've got the end of your screw hanging out on the end there, then you know your locking washer is okay. If you start seeing the end of the screw disappear, tighten her up. Let's go in there and make sure. Now, Mary Boozer had a handy little set of locking washers, or a little socket set he was using. Well, I just don't have mine available right now, so I'm using a little pair of pliers. But you know what? I'll use a bigger pair of pliers now. Yeah. Still not super happy with that. Still not super happy with that. I want that. Yeah. Okay. Let's grab a hold of. That just kills me. We're not dealing with fiddly little plastic here. We're dealing with heavy metal here. Yeah. Yeah. That's in good shape there. Yeah. Okay. Turn her around. I'm going to do the other side. Oh! Now this is further away, but same deal. Already loosen that. Going to take the lock nut off. I'm not going to lose it. A small washer, and then one of the big washers, leaving one big washer on there up against that axle. Put my wheel, put a little bit of grease on there. Okay, like I say, it's a waterproof, food grade lithium. I don't know if it's lithium or silicone or what it is, but you just need a tab, just need a little bit. It'll go a long way. It'll work itself in there. Okay. Okay. Also, put it on your my T28, my big T28. I put it all in the slide screw on the retracts. Shoved all that down there and made the retracts work, and just worked all that grease in there. Had zero problem with those retracts going up and down. All right, the big one, and then the little one. Okay, get them up on there, and then put in your locking nut. Locking nut. Okay. All right. Probably can do this by hand first. And yeah, this would be a lot easier with a little socket set, but Even though I've been in this new house now for, I don't know how, I guess a year and a half now, still ain't found it. It's here somewhere. That's just a little too tight now. All right. All right. All right, there we go. That is the landing gear. Boy, that was tough, wasn't it? All right, now we're going to move on to what could arguably be a more intense part of the build, and that is the tail. Okay, the tail. Let's see how this looks on camera real quick. Sorry, I'm not trying to delay the build any more than I have to. But let's make sure we're to where everybody can see just what the heck we're doing. All right. In your tail wheel assembly, okay, this screw right here, okay, this screw right here, I found mine to be a little bit loose. Tighten that up and it doesn't interfere even with cranking it down. I also found that my shock absorber wasn't tightened up in here, so tighten that up a little bit but not completely. As long as you've got some compression and you can go in and out, you're in good shape. Now you're going to want to remove these two locking nuts and these two screws, because that's how it attaches to the tail. The blue shocking absorber goes to this single attachment here, and then this screw goes to these double metal attachments here. So, but before you do this, don't make the same mistake that Mary Boozer made, okay, and not having your shock absorbing springs attached first. Now, they're pretty much the same length from spring. They're from spring to each end. However, one end is slightly longer. So I believe it probably doesn't matter, but I am going to put the shorter end to the wheel. Okay? So first things first, let's undo our screws and our locking washers. I'm going to hold one in place with my, and these are a little bit smaller than what we dealt with the, the nice thing about it, they're already attached, so you don't have to find another bag. Where are these screws at? You know, where they're at. Where are they at? They're right here. They're already attached. And that's something else you do. Whenever you take a model apart, it takes a little time, but instead of, you know, putting them in a bag and labeling them and all that, just screw them back into the model where they're supposed to be. And that way they'll never get lost. And yes, you may have to take a few extra steps to put the model back together, but you never have to worry about losing a screw. The only screw you got to worry about losing is the one in your head, and I've lost several. And lots are loose. Anyways, but yeah, go ahead and all I did was I undid that screw and took it out of that housing. Okay. Now, first one you're going to want to attach is the shock absorber. It's going to attach like this, okay? So you're going to take your smaller screw, line that up. You just removed it from that shock absorber, okay? Go ahead and get her on there started with your finger. I don't have my head in the way there. Okay. Remember, right to tight, left to loosen. It's always the rule with screws. Right to tight, left to, and if you can, get yourself a set of these needle nose pliers that have a curve on them. They help so much in everything you do as far as modeling. Now, the thing about these kind of screws and using lock nuts, you never want to go completely tight, okay? You want to go just enough to where there's plenty of movement, but not enough where you're going to bind, because that is a locking nut, okay? So you don't have to worry about it. And I got a little bit of screw hanging out on the end. Periodically, the way you can check these screws, whenever you have locking nuts, if you can see the end of the screw hanging out the open end of the locking nut, you're good. But if you can't see it, tighten it up. All right, now would be the time to attach. Since it's going to go like this, okay, I'm going to put this slightly shorter spring end in this control arm, if I can get it to go in there. Okay, and then I'm going to take the spring. All right, that one's attached. I'm going to take the shorter end, which I believe is that one there. You know what? It may just be my eyes. It may not be short. It just kind of looks that way. But I'm choosing what I think is the shorter end, and I'm attaching it to the outermost hole on the tail wheel, and then taking the spring, angling it down, and now I have it loosely connected, okay, with the springs. Now I'm going to take my screw, and for this one I'm going to do opposite direction. Okay, I'm going to put the nut on the other side. It's just something, if I have a choice of doing that, where I've got two screws that line up like that, I'll do them opposite, because in my mind it makes it harder for it to come apart. Maybe it's just me, you know, but oh, got my elbow in the way, sorry. Okay, I'm going to get that screw or that locking nut started. Okay, now hold on. I just dropped it, man. I just dropped it. It's here. It's in front of my face. It's underneath one of these parts. Okay. Hold on, folks. I literally have a screw loose. All right. What happened to it? Where did it go? All right, folks, I'm going to pause and find my locking nut. All right, folks, I'm back. I found my lost nut. Anyways. Okay. Found my lost nut. Okay, and anyways, and put all my tools away in the process. Well, anyways, found my, and it rolled up top of the table there. But let me get my little pair I was telling you about. If you can get you a little pair of these angled needle nose pliers, they are a godsend. They really are. They are a big help. Big, big help. Okay, we're gonna put that together. Makes it a little bit easier. Well, maybe makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, that got started. Okay, now, like I said though, with locking nuts, you want to get them tight, but you don't want them so tight that they don't have any movement, because that's the whole point. They got to have some movement. And as long as you can see some movement in it, and as long as you can see the tip of the screw coming out the end of the locking washer, then you know you're in good shape. Okay, that takes care of that. Now you're going to put on these little fairings that cover the ends here. And they're in a bag and they have their own screws installed. They only fit in one way. Okay. And it should be, you'll see the screw that they hook into. Oh yeah, that's very painfully obvious. So, and that just kind of acts like I guess a dust cover or something to help protect the mechanisms in there. Let's turn the model a little bit. And you know, you're going to be doing this, folks. You're going to be constantly moving your model back and forth and around. Like I said, you'll see how that goes in there. It's I'm probably off camera now. Sorry, but this thing is a beast. It's an absolute beast. Okay, that goes in there. Fits in there just one way. Right to tight, left to loosen, and you'll feel that bite in. Okay, that concludes that. Putting your tail wheel. Now we're going to turn our attention to the horizontal stabilizer. Now, I'm going to show you something. If I can find what I'm looking for. Okay. The horizontal stabilizer, when you unboxed it, when you took it out of the crate and everything, you always work your foam hinge. I don't care what model it is. If it's got a foam hinge, you're going to want to work it. Okay? And it's got 4 plastic reinforcements. You're going to see these 2 struts. They're thankfully already connected because they got little bitty screws holding them in. And you're going to see this, let me get on the camera here where you can see this. See that channel right there? There's a channel there. It's obvious how that slides in. Okay? Now you're going to line it up with that channel. See a clip there. And you hear that little clip, that little popped in there. Now, if you want to push down on that clip to pull it up, you can take it back out. But to make sure, you know, you're in there, you're going to, it's a real slight little clip. Now, so that's that. This will be time when you can hook up your ball link for your control. Okay? And then there's these 2 ball links here that also hold the tail on. So that is now the horizontal is done. It's all hooked up. Okay? Now, here's a tip. I'm going to try to find me. I've got some, you know, in a transmitter, and you got that hardened foam. Well, if you can find some of that, I'm going to do what a lot of people, like RC Informer suggests, and he said he might do. If that clip, I'm going to use this little foam here. If that clip was to come undone, that is the main holding point for this tail. Okay, if that clip was to suddenly get loose because you've been taking the tail on and off, and it was to rattle loose and come up, then you lose the main connection. You're only holding your elevator on by your control rod and these 2 plastic struts. I don't like that. So I'm going to take a little piece of foam and I'm going to try to shove that in there. If I can get it cut at an angle. And I'm going to shove, you're not going to see it anyways. Of course, I just dropped it. Not going to see it. I'm going to shove that in there like that. Okay? Take the end of my screwdriver. Well, maybe not the end of my screwdriver. Take this tool. And I'm going to shove that. And you know what? I've got room for more. Now that I've shoved that in there, I'm going to take another piece. And I'm going to shove that in there. Just because, and the only reason I'm doing that is that puts pressure down on that release clip. And you can always take that foam right back out. It keeps that release clip in place, holding that horizontal or elevator on. Okay, so for right now, this part of the build is done. This part of Draco is done. So you can take her off, put him over here, off the side. He can stand on his nose. Now we're going to turn our attention to the wings. Get this off of here. Okay, and we're going to put on our leading edge slats and our counterbalances and the few pieces that glue on to the wing. We're going to start with the leading edge slats first. And you know, I think I will be having to use my stand so that I can keep the wing, the bottom of the wing, up off the surface here. Okay. Now I love, this is like just like on Barry Boozer, I love that white tube glue. It comes with all your Dyna models. It comes with a lot of models. Horizon Hobby does not provide it. But anyways, I love the white tube glue. That's just me. Now, to put the slats on correctly in the right orientation, your Horizon Hobby logo is going to go towards the fuselage. This part of the wing that's got the big light is the further out, is away, so this goes towards. So, what I'm going to do is take my glue, whatever I did with it, okay, take this white tube glue. It's just a glorified rubber cement that's foam safe, and get them with, like I say, they come with a lot of models. And I'm going to put a little dab on each one of these areas. Okay. And I know this is the right one. I'm going to put just a touch on each one of these. Okay. Oh, got one here too. Don't want to forget this one. And yeah, you're going to have little stringings everywhere. Okay, and you're going to want to, it's obvious how it connects. Just seat it in there. It's like pieces of a puzzle. It's obvious how it goes in. Get it in there, and then like any other foam tack or rubber cement, once you got it in there, pull it apart just a little bit. Okay, let's see a little bit of air get in there. And then put her back down. Okay? Put that back down there. Okay. Alright, then we're going to take that wing, set it over here, put it somewhere where it's not going to have any pressure or touch that leading edge slat. Okay? Oh look, we got to undo our, I'm hoping y'all can see me. See me! Hope y'all can see the model anyways, the pieces. Take your pins out. Remove the supporting wood, which is awesome, by the way. Okay. And these only fit in one way, and it's obvious. I mean, you'll feel it. You put them in one way, the other way, but they'll only fit in the one way. And then they turn just one way. And it's obvious, okay? All right. And remember, just like I showed you with the other wing, you're going to glue the Horizon Hobby logo furthest away from this outside light. Okay, so let's put our glue in our little areas, little channels here. Now you could use medium, preferably a thick foam safe CA if you wanted to. And that would work. You know, whatever you want to use. Just our foam tack or Yoo-Hoo Pour, which is the European version of foam tack, which is that stuff there, Yoo-Hoo Pour. It's good. It's really good. I could just as easily use it too. I've got all this stuff, you know, for free that comes with all the models. So, all right, and I got a lot of it. Put it in there. Take it off one time. Let it get some air in there. This isn't like foam tack. Foam tack you want to take off several times, 2 or 3 times, and develop those strings. But with this stuff, one good time, and then, and like I say, it's like pieces of a puzzle. You can't. It's obvious how it fits in there. You're not gonna screw it up. Okay. If anybody can screw it up, it'd be me. So, there you go. Now we're going to take that one off to the side. And remember, you got all them pieces of foam, right? Okay. Well, set them off to the side. That was noisy. And use them to support your wing while that's drying. Okay. Now we can go back to the main fuselage. You know what? Let me move this wing up out of the way too. Over here. Excuse me, Draco. Over here. That way that slat can dry. Get a good 5-6 minutes drying, and then you should be able to handle it. Okay, now we're going to put all the little fun bits and pieces. The little antennas and whatnot that go on the fuse. And then we'll go back and finish the wing. Okay, so let's take a look at our bits and pieces. Now we're actually going to be doing some screwing here. Okay, and some gluing. Gluing and screwing, man. Gluing and screwing. That just sounds terrible, don't it? Okay, let's start off with what goes on top first, okay? You've got 1, 2, 3 antennas, okay? Let's let that lay there. Top antenna. You got 2 that go on top the wings, and then you got the one. Now these have metal wiring. Well, I'm wrong. There's one on the bottom. Okay, one goes back here, one goes underneath, and one actually goes on the wing. The one that's bent, that goes down and back, goes underneath the model. Okay, and this is one of those that you you're going to glue in. These get glued in. So grab your glue. Okay, one's going to go right there. Okay. Well, and wonderful little strings there. Okay. One is going to go underneath. Let's get Draco up on his nose there. It goes, okay, right there in the belly. So, right there in his butt. Okay. Glue that in there. Okay. Yeah, that sets down in there just so. And then one goes on the wing. Since the wing's over here, only one wing has it, and it's obvious. It's got this. I'm gonna go ahead and put it off camera while you can't see it, but it's very obvious. Sits down in there, and the angle goes backwards or towards the tail of the plane. All right, now since we've got that done, now we're going to go ahead and install the steps. Now the steps, what you use to actually get up in the plane, they're these plastic, and they kind of got some give to them. They should only go in one way, which maybe they key in. Let's see, how do they go in? They just go in with the T side down. Okay, yeah. They just screw in like that. You have these two self-tapping screws. Let's see what are the sizes on these self-tapping screws. They are 2 5mm self-tapping screws. Okay? Phillips head screwdriver. And those will go in just like that. Well, now hold on. I think I'm missing another screw. These are 5mm, right? Let's make sure. No. No, it's going to be these smaller ones. I can't believe. Bear with me, folks. I'm having brain fart here. And of course, I'm missing a screw here. Okay. The screw that I'm missing is my self-tapping screw that holds the counterweight on the ailerons. Okay. So that has to be that there. That just seems like an awfully big screw for that. But I guess that's it. And they do have some, like Mary Boozer pointed out. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. It does have some give to it. So if you do bang it on something or whatever, you should be okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I've lost a screw. Or I have a screw loose. Maybe both. Okay. Alright, I'm going to have to turn the model. Whoa! Hey. The perils of hanging models. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm going to use, now I'm talking to myself, and I do that all the time. Okay, the screw that I think I've lost is my other screw. It's a very small self-tapping screw for the counterbalance on the ailerons. Yeah, see, those have a little bit of give to them, so that's screw. That's really good. Okay, so, all right, we got that one there. Well, we'll find it, and if not, I've got tons of those screws. I just would like to use everything for that. All right, so we got everything on this part. Now we can turn our attention back to the wings, and you know what we could do is we could go ahead and assemble the wings. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's go ahead and assemble the wings. Take your big old spar here. Slide that puppy through. Always use a twisting action on that. Something you should do. Let me show you what I'm doing. We'll go in from this angle here. Okay. Now, like I showed you in the unboxing, you've got these quick connects that line up a certain way. Try not to touch the leading edge slats right now. Okay. We'll go ahead and slide that through. Yeah, there's a stopping point in the wing. Okay. And that should, do I have the, see? Here's how you know it's going to connect, because if you don't have the pins removed, these pins, it ain't going to connect. So that's where I screwed up. All right, now that should line up right in there. While we've got it there, there's a little grab handle that Mike paid to use, installed, so he could get up on the wing. Let's undo it real quick. Maybe. Hold on. Boy. And just screw that little detail in there. Okay. Now we will. I'm gonna go behind the model. Not gonna be able to see me. And I'm going to hook up. Well, you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll turn it around. This huge wing here. Okay. And hopefully you can see what I'm now doing. Okay. They're only going to fit in there one way. Okay. And once you get it in there, you can feel them lock into place. Man, this is a big model. Oh, this sucker's big. Okay. Now, turn. All right, come on, Cessna. Be nice to me. Be nice to Draco. He's your new brother. Okay. All right. And this is a heavy model. Get our other wing. Let's go ahead and get our glue. Get our glue. Stick it in that little hole there. Put that little grab handle. And they got some nice like separations on them to where it'll grab. All right, line up my carbon fiber. Make sure, take the pegs out, because otherwise your wing will not go on. Okay? And that just lines up in there. Just pretty as you please. Now you're going to have to wiggle there. Okay? After you do this a couple hundred times, that will get easier. Okay? It will get easier. All right. Oh yeah, that is in there solid. Okay. Now, man, this sucker's got a wing on it. Ooh, gosh. Come on, buddy. Now we're going to install our stingers. And you know, I probably should have put my aileron. Ah, shoot. Okay. These are what you call your stingers. And what they do, these are hard metal with just a little bit of give. And if you were to ground loop and hit a wing on the pavement, you know, this will help keep your wing up off the ground. This is, and Mike Patey will tell you this is what he thinks helped save part of his, when he crashed Draco, part of what saved it was this. So the curved end goes backwards. There's this place in here that just compression fits in. Now to me that fits in there awfully loose. So just like Mary Boozer, I think Mary Boozer, or was it RC Informer, I'm going to bend that out a little bit. And now I'm going to, oh yeah, that's in there good. That's in there much better. Okay. I'm going to do, this sucker is huge. All right, this is kind of good because now you can see that stinger. There's a little hole here, a little rectangular slot. It's going to fit in there just like that. But to me, it's just a little too loose. So I'm going to bend the front part out just a touch. Just a touch. And put that in there. That is in there a lot better. Now we're going to install our counterbalance to the aileron. The little torpedo shape should be going forward. Okay, I'm going to stop for just a second. I'm going to find or replace the little screw that you use. It's just a little bitty screw. Let me find another one. I've got plenty. I found another self-tapping screw, or one that's pretty darn close to the one I had, because I've lost it. I can't find it nowhere. All right, well, these counterbalances go into the ailerons, okay? All right, come on now. Oh boy. All right, you just stay there, don't. Oh man. Okay. drama with those things. All right, now. Okay. Going to install counterbalances. Let me make sure this screw will work. I'm sure it will. Yeah, it will. Okay. So I suggest putting it through the counterbalance first, screwing it through there. Okay. And remember, the torpedo end goes towards the front of the wing. And it's obvious how they connect. And you'll feel it set in. It only goes one way. Like I said, screw it through the top of the counterbalance first. Pull up your aileron, hold it in place, supporting the aileron with your fingers, and you'll feel it click in. It has a definite stopping point. All right, now, Draco outside of putting the prop on, which is next, she's basically done. Okay, this thing is so big. So very big. Now, you're going to have a little bag with one screw in it. This is what holds your cowling or your prop cover or spinner in front of the prop. Okay? So you're going to want to take, this is where you're going to want your heavier duty hardware out, or tools. Okay. Probably a good pair of pliers. Okay, you want to remove this nut here. Okay. Probably that plate. Let's make sure. If, you know, there's no point in saying, "Oh yeah, I know how to do it." No, don't. Just do it right. Okay. Go ahead and do it right. Okay. And all right, yeah. The prop goes only one way, red side out. And remember, a prop's always going to turn to the left. Okay. In a single prop. Now, a counterbalance is going to go the other way. Counter rotate go the other way. But the single prop is always going to go to the left. So the ends of the props are going to go towards you. The angle is going to be down. Prop goes right up against it. Then you put your back plate on. Then you put your locking nut in. Another locking nut. Okay? Grab a hold. Okay, get her nice and tight. Okay, get as much hold as you can, as close to the prop as you can, and get it cinch her. Okay, you gotta remember, this is what's going to keep you in the air. Okay, so you want to get it good and tight. But not so tight. Now, I did not balance the prop. I am going to trust Eflite that their prop does not need to be balanced. Okay. Take that one little screw out. Phillips head. Okay, let's get a screwdriver with a magnetic grabber on there. And when you feel the spinner move in your hands, start to position itself, you know you got, yeah, and that just goes into one way. You got a metal screw going into a metal housing. Yeah. All right. Folks, Draco is assembled. Is that not a magnificent plane? I'm going to, now the camera's going to jump for just a second. I'm going to pick up the camera and I want you just to look at how amazing and beautiful this thing is. Look at how big it is. Okay, folks, there it is. There's Draco. Finally in my possession. That big old battery bay there. One thing you're gonna want to do is tuck these leads or these wires up out of the way. Zip tie them down or whatever you gotta do. Get them up out of the way. And there's also a lead here for, I think it's a light. You want to scotch tape that up out of the way. Get it down here to where you're not gonna grab it every time you pull your battery out, because that is your light up front. All right, folks, I am not going to do a radio setup because everybody's got different radios and everything. I'm telling you right now, go to RC Marshall. He does an incredible video on how to program your IX, NX, or DX series transmitters. You're going to need at least 7 channels or more, okay? Because you got safe, you've also got the reverse function. You can do it on 6, but you need 7, okay? Go to his, I'll put a link to his video in this build, but that's the best one. It's the same thing I did. So go to his. He has better lighting, better camera equipment. He can better explain it. So prompts to him. Prompts to Pilot Ryan. Folks, I'm going to tell y'all something. For the Pilot Ryan electric fly-in Mulberry, Florida here in the middle of May, I am not going to be able to attend. I am sorry. I told most of y'all I was going to be there. I've had some personal reasons, home reasons and stuff that I'm just not going to be able to get out of. And let's face it, our hobbies are fine, but our families come first. So I'm going to be staying home, and I'm working too. Got to work, and so I'm not going to be able to attend that. I am so sorry. I wanted to, but I'm just, even though I'm only 40 miles south of it, I'm not going to be able to get out of some personal things that are just come before my hobby. So I know y'all have families, you understand. All right, but there it is, Draco. I'm going to do a video of it run around the driveway with the lights and everything, but go to RC Marshalls. Shout out to Pilot Ryan. Shout out to RC Sailors, Brian Phillips, RC Geek, RC Girl. She's a lot like me. She's a beginner standpoint, does things from that sort of perspective. Go to her channel. I'm going to leave people out. Pilot Ryan, of course, the Captain Blosh and Pilot Robert. Great guys, the brothers. Check their channels out. Okay, they can give you a lot of good advice. Of course, check my channel out. You know, I'm get prompts there. But thank you so much, folks, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this assembly of Draco. I can't wait to get you a maiden. And God bless y'all. Thank you so much.